Hi, this is Dina with Pretty Productive. Welcome back to my channel. So it has been a while since I have filmed, and I apologize for that. Life got really super hectic for me. So I did want to take a moment and just say thank you to all of you that reached out to me, asked me how I was doing. I did not mean to just disappear like that. I really hate when other YouTubers do that, but unfortunately I did. So apologies. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our 2024 budget and kind of what has changed in my budget and what I'm doing differently this year. I did take a step back and really reevaluate and see what was working and what was not working. I also really have to super be honest and say it is very different in my life right now when I am not working. I'm working very, very little. And I'm doing that intentionally to have more time with my family and to kind of spend some time with my mom, things like that. But it is very hard for me mentally to not feel productive or that I'm bringing in an income other than my pension. So, you know, there's a lot of emotions wrapped up in retirement and being debt free and things like that that I was not prepared for. So I'm kind of working through those still, but I am also excited about this year. We have two big projects for 2024. Number one, my daughter is getting married in October. So I'll kind of show you how I am working the wedding budget. And I will say I am shocked at how expensive weddings are, but we will not incur debt for the wedding, and we will not have my daughter and son-in-law to be have any debt for the wedding. So there is a budget, and they are very good at adhering to it, and almost everything's done, but you know, there can always be surprises. And number two is we are finally, after 4 years, starting to do some home rental projects that we started to do before COVID. We got our flooring done, and then everything just kind of came to a halt, and then we never really picked it back up when things were calming down again, and now we're finding that things are so much more expensive than what they were back in 2019 when we had started this project. So those are our two biggest projects and goals for 2024. Now my setup will look a little bit different because I am not using the Erin Condren 7x9 planner this year. I've always used the monthly planner. But what I found at the end of the year was I didn't know what to do with that book. And I didn't really need to keep it because I had my budget sheet. So I decided this year to not do it. I will tell you that I miss it, but I'll kind of walk you through what I did in this book, which is it's a Teal cover, and I kind of just Frankenplanned it together. And I am only doing one savings challenge for this year. Unfortunately, I'm not doing that 100 envelope because that's $5,050, and I honestly cannot squeeze that out of my budget unless I do go back to work. So I am doing a different one, which I created in my shop. It's a $2,000 budget, and I'll kind of, $2,000 goal, and I'll kind of walk you through how that one's gonna work. So let's go ahead and get started. I have all my binders to the side here. So in my absence, I really did not do cash. I pretty much cleaned out my binders, cleaned out my savings challenges, just kind of used the money as I needed to, pretty much still stuck to my budget. But one thing that was very obvious to me is that by me using a credit card and then paying it at the end of the month, while I would kind of just give an estimate in my checkbook of what I thought was going to be on my card, it was always a lot more than that. So I'm doing that a little bit differently now. I'm still doing cash. I'm still going to be using my card because I am saving up the points to go see my sister in Chicago. But in the meantime, I'm kind of just changing it around. So what I did was I went ahead and, like, this is the month of January. And I just printed out a January calendar, free offline, online, and then I wrote in a few bills, but I will actually go ahead and be color coding it just like I have in the past. I left a list right here of my wedding deposits, and when we're talking about wedding, let's just kind of look at this. So this is a Hobonichi book for the weeks. It's called a notebook. So I decorate it with some pet tape and things like that. And then I've just kind of kept, so the hotel, here are all of my deposit dates. Here's the amount of the deposit. She's already purchased her dress. The photographer, we've done the first payment and then we still have our balance. The DJ and the lights, we've done one deposit and then we have a balance. Flowers and decor is like the one thing we have left to do. And then we have a videographer. We paid one part. We'll have a balance due. And then her day of wedding planner, we've paid for one. And then we have still another part done. So I gave her and her fiance a budget. Right away, we knew with the property that they picked, it was not going to be enough. So we sat down and we recalculated everything, gave them more money, but that is the top. So my daughter and son-in-law to be know that that's it. So anything above and beyond what we've given them is going to be, you know, either out of their pocket or it's going to have to be cut. So that is what it, I keep saying the budget is what the budget is. So this is how I'm tracking the wedding expenses. I did put this here because I just needed to look at it quickly when I was planning. It does charge to my Capital One card. The savings account for the wedding is attached to my Capital One card, so the property will bill my Capital One, and then I'll just move the funds from the savings account onto paying the card. So I've pretty much done this for each month. In the month of February, the very end of February, my property taxes are due, so here is the statement for that. So if I had anything like that, I did go ahead and put it there, but that was really the only thing I had so far. So that is what I'm going to be using to track it. My forms are pretty similar, but I had to create a few different ones because honestly, I was using my budget kit, so I really kind of was just at a loss when I decided not to do the planner. So this one should look very familiar to you. It's pretty much the same one. I don't think I've added much to the bills. My daughter is working on making that into a PDF so I can put it in my shop. Getting her to do those kind of things are a little bit challenging. I started to do it myself and there were so many steps that I was like, I don't want to do this wrong. I don't want someone to be frustrated that they paid for something that didn't download correctly. So I just took a pause on that, but we are working on that. So these are my sinking funds. These are what I thought I was going to put in. I think it has changed already. This will be my cash breakdown sheet, and we're going to do this one together. And then the transaction log, which is, again, what was in the Erin Condren planner, is now just, will be a sheet. Hopefully I won't need this many for the month. Second cash breakdown. So this will be my weekly check-in. So basically what the budget was, what I spent in that category for each week. And I'll be tracking the transactions on the transaction log plus the calendar view. And that is it. So pretty similar to what I've been doing in the past, but a little different in that I have added some different forms since I'm not using the Erin Condren book. Okay, so let's talk about the envelopes and the binders. So one thing that's going to be very different for me is that I have some bills that automatically come out of my credit union, my checking account. And those are, you know, set up that way. So we switched phone carriers from AT&T. So our bill went from $262 to $135. And actually my coverage is better at T-Mobile than it was at AT&T, and that's what I was afraid of. So we have kind of taken category by category and look like where can we kind of cut down? What are we paying too much for? What can we do? Or like for our internet, we left it even though we're paying more, but it's so good compared to any other thing that's available in Phoenix that we went ahead and stayed with it. So what will be different this time is those bills that I pay at the end of the month that go directly billed to my card, my credit card. I will now pull that money out and put it into a binder and then put the money back at the end of the month when I pay that card. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I feel like I'm spending the money twice. So in my mind, I know that $2,000 roughly is going to be pulled out of my checking account and pay my credit card off. I know that mentally. But when I'm looking at my balance, I'm thinking, oh, I've got extra money still. Even though I've taken $2,000, written it out of my check register, I feel like that money is still there. And so I'm struggling at the end of the month to clear that card without dipping over that $2,000. And I think it's coming from shopping that I'm doing, not necessarily bills, but definitely shopping that I'm doing online, and I'm not taking that money out of that category. So if I go and pick up groceries, I'm not necessarily taking that $80 out of my grocery money because I paid for it online, I paid on my Capital One card, so I'm spending the money twice in my mind. So this is what I'm going to do to fix that issue. So these will be about the same. So it's groceries, eating out, spending, household, my mom, miscellaneous, personal care, entertainment, and then back to bank. So these are the same. These are the ones that are what I call kind of my everyday, would be in your wallet if you were gonna take this to the grocery store with you. What is different is this binder. So what this is the categories that I've gone through for the last 2 months and looked at my card statement and say, okay, where would that charge have fit if I was doing the envelope system at that time? So it was beauty, clothes, Costco, DirecTV, which is our streaming service, Elements, which is a subscription for massage, my gym, internet, lawn care, medicine, planning and journaling, planner subscription. So I did create this little card because not all my subscriptions bill out every month. Like Coffee Monster Co. is every quarter. Fada Chronicle and Simple Paper are actually monthly, and then Paper Minty Studios every once in a while, but I would like to be putting money away for that so that I'm not all of a sudden in March paying $100. And I'm kind of going back and forth. I love her products, but $100 is a little high. And second, I'm just not using them, like so pretty that I don't want to use them. So it doesn't make sense. I'm really trying to destash and get rid of a lot of stuff that I have in my office right now. My registration and maintenance for my car. So this one kind of crept up on me because my car is still under warranty until September, and in September also my registration is due. So instead of taking out per month for the registration, I had just put money aside when I was working, and I just took a couple checks and put that aside. Well, I'm not really working right now, so guess what? The money's not there. So right now I think I have $200 in that. My registration runs about $550, $600. So I definitely need to start accounting for this now so that I'll have that money there in September. And then my maintenance program also should end in September because it'll be 3 years. I won't hit the mileage, but I definitely will hit the time. They do offer like an extended, I don't know. It is nice just to take it to the dealership, you know, have them fix whatever, and I never have a bill, but I know that's going to change. Sketchy stuff is really what I do with my sisters. I have one sister who's a really bad influence, but instead of just wondering where that money is going to come from, I'll have money in here for that time. Streaming is kind of a couple different things. It's Hulu, Max, and Audible. I already pay Netflix out of my checking account, so that's already a direct bill, so I don't need to worry about that, but I do need to have these ready to go. Starbucks, this was one of my interesting things because I didn't take it out of going out, I didn't take it out of groceries, and I didn't use my spending money, and I was just reloading my card. And while I don't drink coffee, on at least Tuesdays when I'm going to my daughter's house, I pick up coffee and breakfast sandwiches. And that added up really quickly. So I just kept putting 30 on my card, 30 on my card. Now my husband did gift me a $100 gift card for Starbucks, and that was loaded, so I shouldn't need any money. But again, it's a category that I should have been adding to. My car wash and water and trash. So those are all new envelopes for me. They are what I'm calling my bills, excuse me. And some could really be considered sinking funds as well. So these will look familiar to you. So these are more sinking funds that I'm using kind of more regularly: craft night, date night, electricity. So whatever I bill for, whatever I put in my budget for electricity, if there is a difference, if it is less than what I budgeted for, then the money goes into here. HOA, I pay quarterly. So on the months that it's not due, a third of that goes into here so that it's not such a big hit to my budget on the months that it is due. Household, pest control, which again is quarterly. Sutton is my granddaughter. Every time I put $1 in here, it gets taken out. So I just helped my daughter buy the high chair that she wanted for her. So I swear it's like, why bother? Target is actually, I put it on my red card. So as soon as I put money in here, I buy a gift card and then I put that onto my red card account. And so when I'm shopping, I use that. That way I'm getting the red card discount and points, but I'm not using my credit card, and it comes out of my debit account if I didn't have enough money on my red card. So those are pretty much the way they were. This binder is also very similar to the way it was. So these are what I call my holidays or events. So Valentine's Day, anniversary, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, family barbecue, which is kind of covers all holidays, Labor Day, 4th of July, things like that, Halloween, Thanksgiving. This will be my Christmas one. I do a tracker for Christmas. I kept it separately, but I went ahead and put it in here. My birthday, my husband's birthday, my daughter's birthday. Now, I had a big kind of aha moment. I forgot to add her fiance. So his birthday is in October. So I had to take it out of family birthdays. So I'm going to be redoing this envelope so that his birthday money is being saved too. The cards is my other daughter, son-in-law, and her daughter. Family is my sisters and my mom. Nieces and nephews are my nieces and nephews' kids. So not my niece and nephew, but their kids. Liam and Milo are my daughter's dogs. And then Disneyland, I have gift cards in here that I really want to go to Disneyland, but it has been so expensive to go. So it has not fit into my budget. And then this one kind of just is the long-term ones. I pay my car insurance, my homeowner's insurance yearly. They're due in July, so I just track it here. It is in a Capital One account. Interesting enough, I have to transfer it back into my credit union before I pay it because the fee to pay it on my credit card was ridiculous. But I do get so much better interest rate in Capital One than I do in my credit union. So since it's going to be there for almost a year, I just put the money on the first of the month. I transfer the money into that account. And then that way when the bills are due, I can just transfer it back. It takes about 3 business days to transfer back into my account. Same with property taxes. It was so much to use my credit card. And I don't know how many people pay it on their credit card without looking, but I looked and I was like, I don't want to pay $75 just for the convenience of using my credit card. So I transferred it back into my checking account and then I wrote a check and I paid it that way. Rollover money is just some 1s and 5s and 10s that were extra that I just put in here so I can make change. Vacation is an online account, but if right before I go on vacation, I tend to put cash in here just so I have cash for vacation. And then savings challenge, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And then this 10 is just so old, but I kept it for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, so that is all of my binders that I'm going to be using. So there's really only one additional with the bills coming out now in cash. And again, not all my bills, as many as possible I have tried to set up that way. So for an example, T-Mobile, they give you a $15 discount if you pay, out of your checking account, basically cash versus your card. So AT&T, I always billed to my credit card. But it was worth the $15 to get to do it that way. So that just is a direct, pull out of my account. My granddaughter's education fund comes directly out of my account that I contribute to monthly. My electric bill, my Southwest gas bill, those all just directly come out of my account. So the only ones I'm having to pull the cash out for are going to be the ones that go onto my Capital One. Okay, so when I really kind of looked at my yearly budget and I looked at the 100 savings challenge, which I love and I've completed in the past, I knew I couldn't do. I didn't have that much per month to shave off until the wedding, after the wedding is paid for, and the wedding's in October. And I know there'll be things that we forget that I'll have to add to it. So I don't want to commit to very much until that wedding is paid for. I'm gonna feel like I have so much money in November and December of this year. So I'm doing a 52-week savings challenge, and it adds up to $2,000, as I said. So what I did was I'm putting it in monthly, and then, so I made monthly envelopes, and then I made like, these are the 4 weeks of January. It'll be $25 a week. Total is $100. And I tried to kind of adjust the numbers based on what was going on. So let me just flip back to December really quick, because December is always tight from, you know, just Christmas and things like that. So I did want to do $100. It is a 5-week month according to this tracker, but I just did $20 a week. So I felt like $100 a month I could handle. If it was much more than that, I didn't think I was going to be able to. And then a couple of the other months, November's 200 and so on. So every month has a card. It tells you how much to put in each week. And then I will keep it by month until the end of the year when I complete it. And then I will go ahead and I can reuse it next year, or I can change the denominations next year. So what will be in my shop is the tracking, the cards, and then the envelopes. So the tracking will be separate, a separate listing. The cards will be, for the whole year, will be one listing. And then the envelopes, if you want them monthly, will be a third listing. Was the only way I could figure out to do it, because I think there's going to be people that want to just do the tracker and they don't want to, you know, they don't really care to have the by month cards or the envelope. So I wanted to do that separate, and then do the envelope separately, because maybe you don't feel like you need that. Maybe you're just gonna put it all in one envelope, and then the cards just to kind of keep me on track. So that is the savings challenge that I'm going to be doing this year. I feel like I can do this. If I do decide to go back to work at all, then I can definitely speed up on this, or maybe double up on some months, but I'm not going to commit to anything because I don't know if I'm going to be working or not this month. I've kind of got into a routine where I'm with my granddaughter 3 days a week. I spend 1 day with my mom and my sisters, and then that gives me a couple days to just kind of do things around the house, cleaning, grocery shopping, things like that. So it's kind of been a nice routine, and working kind of disrupts that. Though I do enjoy having that extra money, and I do enjoy being out of the house to go do that. Okay, so that was a lot for this video. I hope that you are doing well and you're doing great on your financial goals. Please consider subscribing, hit the alert for future videos. My next video that I will be posting will be laying out my January budget, figuring out my denominations, and then a third video will be cash stuffing. And I think I'm gonna break the cash stuffing up, because between sinking funds, my kind of my go-to weekly envelopes plus the bills would be a really long video. So I'll test it out and see. It might be 2, it might be 1. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you soon. Take care.